What is Tower of Fantasy? Tower of Fantasy is a mobile gacha game claiming to be a MMORPG. It features action-based combat where you swing weapons around, use certain abilities that have effects. You swap between 3 weapons on one singular character. You can inhabit the pre-made characters, such as this one, among many others, transforming between them at will once you have them unlocked, or make your own custom character that you can then customize more in depth than the others. You get prompted to make this character when you first start the game brand new. This is where you will start the game. This is where you'll be introduced to the game. Shortly after, there will be a time skip that allows you to skip to the newer content if you'd like, because this is a live service game that we are looking at here today. This is a game designed to keep you playing for a very long time. It has dailies, it has weeklies, and a plethora of currencies to keep you busy grinding and upgrading gear. Is another thing it has. It has a gear system that involves a lot of material gathering. A lot of this, by the way, along with the currencies I'm speaking of, are time gated. This game features tons of time gates in its progressions. For example, I said it's a gacha game. Well, you need specific currencies to go for any of these gachas. For example, the red nucleus, the dark crystal. These are time-gated in how quickly you can get them by playing the game. And then that's where the cash shop comes in, where you can buy these currencies, for example, directly, along with Tanium, which can be converted directly to dark crystals, or spend your real money on many limited time offers that allow you to get these currencies. Not just the currencies to get the characters, but currencies to upgrade your gear as well. Every aspect of the progression of this game and the customization, the cosmetic customization, all of which appeals to different player bases of this game, can be purchased. So just note, it is an extremely pay-to-win game. By my standards, it's the most pay-to-win game I've ever played, and some of the most expensive customization. To others, maybe it's not, but to me, it definitely is. The game features many different ways to get around. For example, you have access to relics, which you can see on the right over here. You can have 2 relics active at once. If one's being used, you cannot change between your 5 loadouts, and this is how it has you manage it. So I can use a grapple hook as well. The grapple hook is a little glitchy, as you just saw. I can summon, for example, these big-ass towers to help myself get around. I can summon rocket launchers that when I'm in combat will do rocket launcher things, as well as other combat-based relics. Again, 2 relics per relic loadout, and you can swap between up to 5 of them at once. There is even the ability to kind of surfboard around. There's a version of this that works on land and in hazardous areas as well. However, you have to pay real money to get access to that. And it's not just these. For if I cancel this, the game also has mounts, be they surface, sea, or just pure land surface. For example, I have a bubble mount here. Or even underwater. There's a whole underwater area with underwater mounts you could go for as well. The game's progression is told via a main story. You'll start on the Asperia story. It will quickly skip you to the Vera story. I talk about this more in my other videos in the playlist below if you want to know more. It does add more main story over time. Almost all of this is voice acted. It's not very good. The translation is poor. Consistency is minimal, but I don't know who's playing these kinds of games for that. Anyway, I certainly am, and I could say it probably doesn't appeal to me. There are also side quests that are, oh look, a player, that are not voice acted basically ever, and there are many side quests as you could see. For example, the game does have a bit of a guild system, but it is not really a normal MMORPG guild system. It's more of a mobile game guild system where you mostly just join to exploit your fellow guild member and he exploits you, rather than forming a community to, you know, just do the standard things you do with guilds in PC MMORPGs like Guild Wars, Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, Star Wars: The Old Republic, you name it. The game has a number of crafting resources for cooking and other tasks where you can gather. For example, this is a beehive. If I hit it, I get honey from the bees that come out. There are, materials, such as maybe over here. Oh, this is a chest I can open. There are chests as well that I can open. Here's a material, lettuce, for crafting food. There's a hunger mechanic in the game. As you see, I could actually do with eating right now. My satiety's yellow. It's lower, so I won't passively heal as well. If I take damage from pretty much any source, such as fall damage, then I have to consume satiety in order to get that health back. So it's going to go a little slowly right now because my satiety is low, but it consumes a portion of it constantly. The open world is filled with a ton of puzzles, let's say, that you can do. This is one that I've already done. One of these would have a black nucleus in it, for example, and that's a way to get characters, materials, and things like that. There are many different challenges and things in the open world that are usually marked with a percentage completion that you can see a gist of. Some things are hidden, and there are even tracks to give you rewards as well. Normal tracks of rewards, not like a battle pass track of rewards. This game does have a battle pass, but this is not that. The game has a bunch of different side modes in it as well. There is, for example, an entire gachapon section where you could play real-life gachapon in order to get rewards. There's a bazaar where you can complete daily tasks. There's fishing in the game that gives mostly unique rewards, but all the rewards tend to bleed over. There's an island that you can build up the buildings on to get resources, as well as build some buildings that tie into a creature capture game, kind of like Pokemon, but which turns into this classic like 2010 era mobile game where you have units, they fight other units, you are limited by stamina, energy, challenge attempts, etc., and you use that to purchase other things that can then power that up. There's a bunch of these different modes. There's racing. Right now, there's beach volleyball. They've just added kind of recently as to when I'm recording this. The game even has a gambling den. That's right, a gambling den. Because of course it does. What you're looking at here is entirely daily, weekly, repeatable stuff, like raids, which honestly are more like a normal MMORPG's. Well, a single boss fight, actually. It's just like a one singular boss fight with mechanics, and that's what a raid is. And then there's even joint operations. This is like a dungeon in an MMORPG, although a bit shorter. There's also things like interstellar explorations, which are really just exploration missions to get important rewards. Dimensional trials, which can be quick battle to get you important resources as well. However, this is all limited by your vitality. Vitality is a mobile-esque energy system. If you ever played Soul Worker, you'll be familiar with this. Unfortunately, there's no mats you can sit on in this game to restore that. This game does feature a handy little smart servant maid girl that will make you food 3 times a day to restore your satiety, separate to the food that you can cook yourself, discovering recipes the whole way around. That will also give you 30-minute buffs. For example, I have been given the buff Volt Damage Up, so using one of the game's elemental weapons, I will deal more damage for 30 minutes. Speaking of, the weapons are attached to the gacha characters. You get a character, you get a weapon, and you don't need to have any certain character equipped to use this weapon. This character belongs to this weapon. I use it because it's the newest character. Well, actually, this is the newest character in my arsenal, Nola, but this is for my main element. If you look at all my weapons, you can see the different elements. We have physical, we have ice, fire, and volt. There is altered, which is kind of an in-the-middle element that is different, draws from the power of the other elements. It's a lot more versatile. I talk about that more in my other videos as well. And that's just the weapons. You could put matrices on your weapons. A matrix goes on a weapon. If you get a 2-piece set or a 4-piece set or whatever it says, you will get certain bonuses, and some of these can take effect offhand. For example, this 2-piece set right here. When Rumble, which is the weapon that comes with this character, is equipped, increase all attack by a certain amount depending on how many times I've started this up by obtaining duplicates. This powers up a attack of a special ability as well. This works in the offhand. This doesn't have to be equipped on that weapon, but the weapon has to be equipped in general, and so does the matrix on one of the 3 weapons that I'm using. That is an example of how that works. This game has vehicle upgrades that give rewards. The upgrades don't actually upgrade it. It just gives you rewards. Those special currencies that you need for everything, for the gacha, for the characters, for the cosmetics, you name it. So you can earn quite a lot of these by playing the game. You'll earn a lot by playing through up to the current content, for example. And when they add more content, you'll be able to earn even more by doing the same thing. Otherwise, you'll be doing those weekly, daily tasks. For example, right here, weekly activity tasks, in order to get a lot of these. And as well as your crew can get you access to some of these things as well. Just make sure to do your daily, weekly tasks as you do them. The game does have a couple of locations, really just like one location that kind of counts as player housing. It can barely be customized, but only through preset customizations, not through anything special. I personally don't see any reason to go to it, and I don't think most players would see any reason to go through it as well. This is the first zone. This is Asperia. They add many more zones over time as the game develops. You going through this will unlock towers that allow you to unlock the map, very Far Cry style, and then teleports as well on top of that. But this core gameplay loop does change as you go through the different zones. They change it every expansion, like 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. It gets different. So I'm not even sure which just to give you. Just know that that is the basics, and then it gets different. They do have maps that have special mechanics. For example, this is an entirely underwater map that you can go to. If you look at Domain 9, this is a map where they give you boots where you can run up walls because the area is so vertical that you kind of need it, but then they don't let you use that on any other map in the game. This game also has a personal card system where you could customize a personal card showing like a little text box that you put, some decorations that you put around whatever character you choose to use for in whatever outfit, showing your name, whatever title you are using, because there are titles that can be achieved via achievements. A lot of these achievements, by the way, give very useful rewards. So these achievements do have some value to doing them. Oh yeah, and there is also, as you just saw right here, a little companion you can get, specifically in Domain 9. You have to skip ahead. There's also this smart servant. Domain 9 is 3.0. This little person is 2.0. It's technically the same person, but this is a non-combat version. Like, right there, different iterations of a pet system, essentially. And you can get different ones and customize them as well. This one is wearing an outfit specific to having completed a rather tedious, potentially annoying version of a map that is potentially challenging, and I don't think most players have actually done it. And this is the swimming zone. This is what swimming looks like. Just to show you an example of what that looks like, as you can see, it's much different. It's a much cooler area than any of the previous ones, but maybe a little more difficult to run, whether you're on a PC or a phone, as the game itself does have some performance problems, admittedly, especially when it comes to stuttering. There is underwater combat that behaves just like above ground combat, so that's nice. But I don't want to take up too much of your time. I think I've already covered all the basics you need to know if you're considering playing this game, getting into this game. You've seen a little bit of everything that the game has to offer. So let me know what you guys think of it in the comments below. Do you think this is worth playing? Hopefully this information has been helpful to you one way or another. For now, though, thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.